This might be the most insane end to a Premier League season ever. We have 5 teams competing for 3 spots. Who will play Champions League football next season? In this video, we'll break it down. And if we look at the Premier League table, there's 1 point separating 3rd from 7th position. We have Newcastle, Aston Villa and Chelsea all sitting on 66 points, while Man City and Nottingham Forest are sitting on 65 points. This Sunday will be complete cinema. All 5 teams will need to win their games to ensure that they play Champions League next season. This is the most intense top 5 race we've ever seen. Before we get into the fixtures, I want to talk about the European spots open for next season. So we all know that 6 teams will play the Champions League next season because the European final is all English final between Tottenham and Manchester United. Chelsea and Newcastle hold the keys for the Premier League to have 10 teams playing in Europe next season. Because if Chelsea finish outside top 5, 6th or 7th, remember if we win the Conference League, we qualify automatically for Europa League. And in Newcastle, if they also finish outside the top 5, they won the Carabao Cup and that qualifies for Conference League. So automatically the Premier League will get an extra team to play in Europe next season. So it's all to play for. There is so much riding on Sunday's fixtures, and hopefully Chelsea makes top 5 because I do not want to play in a Europa League or depend on winning the Conference League to play Europa League next season. And if we look at the fixtures for those 5 teams, we have Chelsea versus Nottingham Forest, Aston Villa versus Manchester United, Manchester City versus Bournemouth, Newcastle versus Everton. Now immediately the most toughest game out of those fixtures is Chelsea versus Nottingham Forest. That's the toughest game out of the fixtures because it's everything to play for both teams, both for Chelsea and both for Nottingham Forest. If one wins, you're guaranteed to play Champions League football next season. So everything is riding on that game. Then if we look at Aston Villa versus Manchester United, Manchester United will be playing the Europa League final on Wednesday. So we will know on Wednesday who will be crowned champions of Europa League. And they will automatically play Champions League next season. And I think Manchester United is going to beat Tottenham. So Aston Villa might play a Manchester United that's going to be on the beach. You know, the players will be celebrating, all of those things. And now if we look at Newcastle versus Everton, I think Newcastle beat Everton. You know, they're at home. They will have that advantage of being at home, playing the last game of the season. They will want to end it with a bang. So I think Newcastle beats Everton in that game. Now, if we look at Manchester City, they still have 2 games in hand. They still have to play Fulham tonight, and we'll see what happens in that game. And then they have to play Bournemouth. So depending what happens against Fulham tonight, if they beat Fulham, Man City might just need a draw against Bournemouth. But I think that's going to be very tough games for Man City because Fulham and Bournemouth can still play in Europe next season. If Chelsea finish outside top 5 or Newcastle finish outside top 5, Fulham and Bournemouth can still play in Europe next season. So that will be very, very tough fixtures for Man City. Now if we look at the team's forms, immediately we can see that Newcastle and Nottingham Forest have been struggling for form recently. You know, both of them only having 2 wins out of the last 5. But at the end of the day, Sunday will be a final for each and every single team. So their current form might not even be affected come the Sunday. So I want to know from you, who do you think will be playing Champions League football next season? Leave your comments down below. If I have to predict, I think Man City, Newcastle and Chelsea will be playing Champions League next season. Even if Aston Villa win their game, you know, our goal difference is far superior than Aston Villa's. So they will just miss out on the Champions League spot. Will there be upsets? We'll just have to wait and see come Sunday. And to end with some transfer news, both Arsenal and Chelsea are interested in Anthony Gordon. Newcastle want £80 million for him. And if you can remember, Thomas Tuchel wanted Anthony Gordon when he was playing for Everton. And his evaluation was around about £40 million. And in 3 years' time, his evaluation doubled now to £80 million. He's a good player. You know, I like Anthony Gordon. Do I think this will happen? I don't think so. I don't think Chelsea will go in for Anthony Gordon. I think we'll look at alternative options, cheaper options as well. I don't think we're going in for Anthony Gordon, but he would be a good addition to the team. This might happen if Madueke goes the other way, because remember Newcastle were interested in Madueke. I think that was in last season. So the club might put Madueke into a deal to get Anthony Gordon. I don't know, but I don't see the club just spending £80 million on one player. And from Florian Plettenberg, Nkunku will leave Chelsea this season. Bayern Munich are still very interested in Nkunku. You know, they will look at how much Chelsea won for Nkunku at the end of the season. And like I said a couple of videos ago, you know, Nkunku, the best move for him will be back to the Bundesliga and to play for Bayern Munich, who's dominating the Bundesliga, you know, and replacing Thomas Müller. That will be a perfect move for him. You know, it's a league that he knows, that he's dominated before, and he'll fit just right in there, playing for Bayern Munich. Manchester United are closing in on Matheus Cunha. This is a good deal for both Manchester United and Matheus Cunha. Manchester United need a player like Matheus Cunha who is very skillful, he brings goals, he brings assists. And also, it's time for Matheus Cunha to make the step up to a bigger club. He's currently playing at the mid-table team at Wolves, and this is a perfect opportunity for him to go to a bigger club and test himself if he can do it at a higher level. And I think this is just one of the signings that Manchester United will make for Amorim. Amorim, he needs a couple more players, you know, going into next season. And I think Manchester United, if they win the Europa League, they will keep Amorim and they will back him fully. And I think they will buy more players for him going into next season. And we might see a different Manchester United next season. You know, so Matheus Cunha is definitely a good buy for Manchester United. And that's it from me. Like the video, leave a comment down below, subscribe if you're not subscribed yet, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, people. Peace.